I'm here with Pat. Thank you for doing this interview. I'm going to ask you a few questions about one-to-one in the classroom.
Okay.
How big of a change is it for a school to transition to one-to-one in the classroom?
I think it's a large change, especially if the teachers, because the teachers are going to have to think differently about how they present their materials, so kids can access it through their device. Sometimes it's going to require the school to rethink how they do certain procedures, because kids are going to have devices. They're going to have to think about protocols on where the devices can go, because you don't want a video camera in the locker room. So how do you, when kids go to PE, what are they going to do? Those devices, there's just a lot of things logistically you have to think out. As a teacher, you sort of have to think about how differently can I structure my assignments so students use their device and develop some technology skills while still learning. So I think it's a large buy-in. Teachers have to buy in, or things really won't change other than their students will be sitting there with a computer.
What are the benefits to having one-to-one in the classroom?
I think that the fact that our society is using digital devices everywhere, and kids knowing how to utilize them in the best, the more you're around a device, the more comfort you feel. You don't feel like there's a learning curve. If I get a job and I have to have technology skills and I don't already have those, then not only do I have stress about what I'm going to do in my job, I have stress about the technology. So it just creates less stress in transitioning to a technological setting.
Do you think there are any disadvantages?
Yeah, I think we can create, we have online bullying. There's a lot of things that are side effects of a very digital society. And when kids are in school, the problems that used to happen in the lunchroom, study hall, those things can be magnified, and which impacts students, different students. But I think, the disadvantages are less, and it really takes good monitoring by your teachers.
Have you ever experienced problems with students staying on task in classrooms with one-to-one?
Yeah, the School of Ed here, when we went to one-to-one, one of the biggest problems is letting go with the fact that they might be multitasking and have 3 or 4 different things up on their computer. But when you think about it as a teacher, when I go to a conference and I'm sitting there with my computer, I might have 3 or 4 things open, but that doesn't mean I'm not listening. So we have to understand students today are different than what we might be. So, just being able to set some boundaries of what your expectations are, and then know what you're going to do when they break them.
I was just going to say, what are some suggestions you have to keep students on task?
By giving them making sure that they're involved in, doing some active discussions, making them take responsibility of facilitating, presenting information. As you get to be older, they can present to their peers, and using that technology, it's hard to slough off when you have something like that to do. So just trying to switch the load to the student instead of you as the teacher.
Do you have any personal experiences to share about one-to-one in the class?
Unfortunately, my last classroom, with the college, it's just interesting because it seems like every semester I have a student who by far sucks up everything you do and takes it to the next level, and you're like, wow, they really get it. And then there's students that walk in and say, I'm not very technology savvy, you need to help me do everything. So the wide range of technology skills as they come into your class is something. Not only do we have differentiated kids with our learning, now we have it with technology skills. So it's just another thing to think about when you use technology.
Do you think kids should be able to take home their laptops or iPads?
Yeah, I do, because I think if you expect any work to be done out, you have to supply them. But I do know if I was living in a very urban setting with low socioeconomic, there are always that chance that somebody in the family could take a kid's device and sell it or pawn it, I think it would really, in this setting, I think it's great that our kids have their own device. If I was in an elementary setting, maybe just having a device while they're in the classroom and they can check it out periodically to do work at home might be substantial enough. You know, high school, I think it's important that they do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Overall, do you think one-to-one classrooms are a good or bad idea?
I think they're good because I look at kids today, even as I walk into a fourth grade, 3/4 of fourth graders have their own phone right now.
Mm-hmm.
So really, is a device any different? So you really need to just teach them about how to use it in a constructive manner and making sure that they know how to use it.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks.